Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 9x90. Today, we have a very special guest with us. His name is Amir. This is his third or fourth startup. Technically, your fourth, but considered your third.
Yeah, it's the third because it's the same company, but we pivot on the business model. So it's the third company.
All right. So I met him a couple weeks ago at this event for unicorns, and then I had the opportunity to go to an event at his office. And ladies and gents, I was sitting there with venture capitalists who have anywhere from 100 to 200 million in assets under management, and we were all talking about how Amir's brain just operates at a different level. And if you ever get a chance to work with one of his companies or invest in one of them, that is absolutely something you do not want to miss. He is not Mark Zuckerberg. He's much nicer. But investing in the companies that he has with his brother, it's such an obvious win, a brilliant move. And today we are going to talk about his latest company, which is Microhub. Now, Microhub, you started with robots. You pivoted to what the market is ready for, but you're coming back to robots, which I love because you have this underlying passion, technical knowledge built into your family, and you're finding a way to introduce robots into the mainstream in a way that society's comfortable with.
That is correct. Thank you. First, thank you, Adi, for this chat today. I really enjoy talking to you and share a little bit more about what we are doing and how we are giving solution for our communities and residents and users at the end of the day. So thank you for having me here today. And yeah, the idea of and why is the third company and why we pivot is we start as a robotic company back in 2020 trying to automate how residents at high-end residential buildings or not high-end, like a big high-rise actually receive their food delivery. So we have created a full autonomous level 5 robot called Lou that delivers package for like food delivery for them. He goes through elevator, he open doors, it's fully autonomous and goes directly to the resident doorstep. But we find out that the market is not ready for such technology, but the market is asking in how we can solve their package room. Today, the chaos inside those high-rise buildings, they have a huge chaos in terms of how they are receiving the Amazon, the eBay, food deliveries. It's a disaster. Their package room is a disaster. So we have created Microhub, which is an off-site package management facility for residential buildings like apartment communities, condos, and those buildings.
Well, I'm sure in Japan, like especially in Tokyo, they probably already have the robots coming in, delivering them food, making them food, all of these things. Whereas in the US, we're so averse to new technology. Like we have such a small group of the market that is open to new technology and food delivery. I mean, if you told people who are using Uber Eats and Grubhub that their Uber Eats fees would be slashed because you have a robot delivering it, I'm sure they would transfer over in a heartbeat. Now that they're spending like hundreds of thousands a year on Uber Eats fees, not even the food. But you started, so you have the robots are now delivering the packages. And I think what we're going to do for listeners is we're going to include a video of the robots, because when you say robots delivering food, people are like expecting something like freaky, like iRobot that could like kill them. And these are cute little boxes that just move. Like the robots you built could not attack anyone. They literally are like this little conveyor belt type thing. Like it's a conveyor belt on wheels that just like treads along flat surfaces and then opens a box for people to get whatever their precious cargo is inside. It's like, it's a very, like, you wouldn't have to worry about your own safety or your kids. It's not something you'd ever see in a horror film. It's a cute little box that moves.
Yeah. Well, the robot, when you develop a product, you have to think about what's happening right now, how we are doing the things. So it's when you do a disruptive technology, you create that an evolution the way how we are doing it today. So we cannot come and say, okay, now your delivery is going to be, it's a dog that is doing your deliveries. We are not having dogs delivering today, but we have small carts making the deliveries, using it by humans. But the idea is to automate those carts. So that's how we evolution the product. But robots are going to be reintroduced to the market late in 2026. For now, our focus is to make deliveries for those package rooms and residential building with e-cargo bikes. We are using e-cargo bikes, we are using humans, which is a great technology too, because we also help reducing traffic in our city. We also help in terms of how residents receive their packages. For the first time in history, actually, you can schedule what time do you want your package, which is huge. Right now, when you purchase something online, you receive a notification, hey, the package is going to be delivered from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you're like expecting your package the whole day.
I
You don't
know.
know.
And for
So,
like our generation who buys like a $3,000 computer online, that window is not okay. And how many times have you had it happen where you like buy a very expensive, because your son is 5 months old?
it's actually in 3 days is 4 months.
4 months. Okay, so when I travel with my children who are 8 and 2, and I forget like the white noise machine or something, or like something, or like the $300 car seat, and I order it quickly on Amazon, forget to change the delivery location, and then I'm having to call all of my neighbors to see who's home to get the package, because that's definitely something that someone would steal from your front door. So you basically just like completely mitigated that entire porch pirate phenomenon that people struggled and dealt with for years. You finally put an end to it.
Yeah, it's completely done. Actually, the in US we have 1.7 million packages lost every day.
Oh, I believe
Get
it.
lost.
Yeah.
So that's a
Stolen
huge
and
number.
lost.
Nobody's
Yeah.
storing a lot. So nobody's talking about. It's a market actually. If you compare that amount of packages, you can compare it to any economy of a country in Latin America. So it's
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
huge market. And with us, we now are your receiving department. We take care, we notify you, and you select, you choose what do you want to do. If you want to deliver to your home at any time of your convenience, you can say leave it. We can hold the packages here up to 60 days at Microhub, or you can say, hey, I'm going to walk my dog and pick up the package, because always Microhubs are walking distance from buildings. We are not like, if we are engaged with your community, it's not like it's 1 hour distance the
Yeah.
Microhub from you, or 20 minutes. It's walking distance, always located walking distance.
And for those of you tuning in from suburban areas, Microhub is currently in huge cities. So if you were in like Miami or New York City or Madrid, Milan, where the building is 27 stories tall, and instead of having to sort through thousands of people's packages to find yours, because usually the front doorman or the person that works at the front desk, they're not a supply chain manager. They hired someone who knows how to keep the residents safe, call the cops if there's a crazy stalker showing up, and do things like that, which is absolutely what you want at your front door. But you also want your packages, which they just, instead of walking straight to your building after work, you have the taxi or the Uber driver drop you off 2 blocks further from your house. You pick up your package and then go home. It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me tell you, like when we start building out Microhub, and one of the actually the top value, it's a resident experience for us is top priority. We want to elevate their experience as residents in their home apartment, because the way how they are receiving packages today is not healthy at all.
Yeah.
That creates a situation with the manager, creates situation with the front desk, even with your family. Like, hey, can you
And your
wait for a
neighbors.
package that I'm receiving, with your neighbors? So it's
Yeah.
always creating situations around the package management. So for us, is how we offer this white glove service, utilizing our technology with the same user experience, because the app, like Microhub app, is a Uber Eats for packages. Like if you have been using Uber Eats and you request your food directly to your doorstep, imagine now doing the same, but for your packages. So all this is like how we make our residents life easier, better, and give them 5 minutes. And this is an important question I always ask people: how much you will pay if I give you 10 minutes? So you have 24 hours plus 10 minutes every day. How much
Yeah.
you will pay for that? So that is important for us. 10 minutes extra a day, it matters for us.
Yeah.
You can do, I don't know, you can enjoy with
Well, and
with your family.
You're saving them hours per month. It's also like so many people have a pet today. So you get a 25-pound. I literally was in Wynwood the other day, and there was a woman walking to her apartment building with a 25-pound bag of dog food over her shoulder. And I looked at my friend and I was like, I could not imagine spending like, I don't know, an hour every month walking to the dog store and carrying 25 pounds of dog food like back to my house. Like, it's wild the things that we're able to get delivered to us. And then that last mile that takes it from, okay, we ordered it, it arrived, and it actually got to our apartment. Like that's a huge thing. And the other thing I think that makes Microhub a no-brainer is you don't bill the customers per package delivered. You're billing the building, correct?
Yes, we
So
engage
all
the
they have
whole.
to do is convince their building to make this another line item for them each month, and it's a no-brainer.
Yes, and like the problem, and it's not about convinced because they are convinced that they have to do something with this. It's about to work together in terms of, okay, how many packages you guys are receiving, how you want us to deliver, because every building have different rules. Hey, you have to park the e-cargo bike in this place, you have to use this type of elevator. So we work with them together to elevate the resident experience, because at the end of the day, the managers are the one who engage with Microhub, the property management. So the way how we work is with them to understand the building demography, and from there offer the best service. But it's simple. Receive package, schedule delivery, and and be at home to receive it.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely a no-brainer. For those in that invest in the multifamily space, where they're buying apartments that have 200 to, I don't know, 400, 500 units, it's a no-brainer to have this added to their apartment to keep their tenants happy, to keep the peace, to keep the property managers looking good. We're always looking for ways to increase the value and the retention in apartment buildings. And this is just a very easy way to do that.
No, we have like hundreds of stories from managers how they lose there is an average of 6 hours a week they checking cameras and talking with residents about package that have been lost or stolen. So imagine that time every week, and how that create things between managers and residents, So
Yeah.
it's the new way to receive packages. We have been in the evolution of the food delivery, like and that is the thing. Like before, you called to Domino's and you ask for a pizza and they bring it to you, and there was not a problem. But we elevate that experience to our door-to-door delivery apps. Now with the packages, we need to elevate that, and that's one of the inspiration, and of course solve the big problem. Another big problem that buildings have is their space. They are
Oh my
not
God.
built
Yeah.
for that amount of packages, that they never thought that, my apartment community will be receiving 300 packages every day. They never think about it. So
Yeah, that's
so
very true.
if you
Yeah.
receive 300 packages every day, become like a mini logistics center, and then you have your lobby full stack of packages. So those are situations that create this a massive problem, and Microhub is here to solve it. But yeah.
That's a very, very true point. A lot of these apartment buildings were not built after COVID. And even the ones that have been built after COVID, because, okay, so I get pitched to either invest or to bring investors to different real estate development projects. So I get to see the blueprints at a very different level, just because I was raised in the commercial architecture space. So they They'll bring me the blueprints. They'll show me, oh, this is where we're going to put the kosher kitchen because we're launching this apartment complex in a Jewish neighborhood, and we saw that has a decreased crime rate because this is demographic of the people we're going for. Like, they give me all of that when I'm asking about the apartment building and like what their plans are to make this a place that people want to stay, because you want tenants to stay. And none of them, even the ones that I like sat down with for lunch this year and they were showing me plans, none of them had a huge package storage area. Like they still to this day don't think about it. And yeah, it's a huge
and it's too much space, and also it's too much space. Like if you we have, I can tell about one example building here is around 700 units. It's in Miami, and they build out a 1,500 square foot package room in their lobby. It's almost half of the lobby,
and it's filled every day.
And it's full. So with that building, we are engaging, and they are going to use Microhub services early next year, and with that, they will transform that space. Now, I think they are going to lease that for a spa or something like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
now they reuse that 1,500 square foot for the
and then
building.
they have the cash generating space, which more than covers the amount that they're going to be paying you to just store the packages for them. That's true. Yeah. A lot of these places, the downstairs, they don't want to be storing packages. That's a high revenue area that they can lease or rent out.
And the look also, it's important. There is a building in Brickell that's brand new building, like 2 years ago. It's a beauty. I love that building. I don't want to say the name, but yeah, I love it. They have that lobby. It's a, I don't know, $20 million lobby. It's beautiful, and it looked like a package room, like a logistics center. They have like a mini DHL there. So you have that luxury. You want to receive your resident with valet and everybody take care of you, and then you have all these packages there. So so it's kind of the look also. So for different buildings, the needs are completely different, because there is also a customer that we have here in Wynwood. They don't have front desk. So imagine those buildings without a front desk.
Oh my
Amazon
God.
is throwing the packages in the front of the building at the sidewalk. So they are now with Microhub, so they stop having issues with the residents. So different customers, they have different needs. They are seeing it from different perspectives. Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, so for those of you who do not know the Miami area, we're throwing a lot of Miami barrio, Miami neighborhood names at you and expecting you guys to keep up. You're in 36 countries and few of you know anything about Miami. So Wynwood is this city that recently went under urban development. The urban development started maybe almost 15, 20 years ago. An American, Israeli-American billionaire bought the ghetto, put a bunch of murals on the walls, and slowly artists started to move in. And today it's this bougie, cool place to live for people, for executives that are tech executives between the age of 20 and 40. A lot of art thought leaders and tech startups, that's where their executives live. Like, so it's a great place, but it's still surrounded by the ghetto, and you have like serious issues with drug addicts wandering the streets there. And it's cleaned up a lot, but it still has a long way to go before it's a place where you could leave packages outside and expect the person to get them. Let me think of like a way. Like, okay, if in Madrid, a lot of you that are listening to the show, I met you when we were all living in Madrid, going to IE business school. Like, it is not Barrio Salamanca. Like, Barrio Salamanca, you could literally like leave your toddler on the street waiting for the taxi and they would be safe. This is not that. Wynwood would yeah, it's not a place where you would like leave children alone ever. It's just it's a place that's up and coming, beautiful architecture, and one day it might be that, but it's not that yet. Okay, so that's huge that you moved into Wynwood, and then you're about to open a location in Brickell as well, which is, for those of you not from Miami, that's like the finance epicenter of Miami. That's the finance district. So
correct.
Yeah, and do you know off the top of your head like how many apartment buildings are there, or how many units? It's in
like
the thousands, like tens of thousands.
right now, Brickell, it's under 50,000 units, but another 15,000 units are coming for the next 5 years.
Oh, I believe it. In Miami, the real estate market is just a hotbed. It really is, because if people want the gateway between Latin America and Europe, it's Miami. And people joke that Miami isn't the United States. It's like it's a city of the world. Like New York City is the go-between Silicon Valley and London. Miami is the go-between all of Latin America, not Silicon Valley, all of Latin America and all of Europe. Like
Yeah,
huge
we
gateway
call Miami is the capital of Latin America.
city. You do call it.
It's not in Latin America, but it's the capital. So,
Yeah,
it's
and
kind
then
of,
people in Europe call it the international city. They're like, oh, it doesn't belong to the United States. It just happens to be placed there, but it belongs to the world.
yeah, it's different culture, different everything. It's that different animal at the end of the day. I love Miami. I'm proud to be here and fund Microhub here because it's a city that is growing. You know,
Yeah. Oh my
it's
God.
not,
Yeah.
and everybody's so proud of it, that they are living in the momentum, and maybe
Yeah.
in 20, 30 years, we're gonna look back and say, wow, we all built Miami, and Miami is a great city today. So we are all, everybody's taking care of it, and you can feel it if, like, you go to different government event, private events, like, and everybody have the same uh, attitude about
Yeah.
it. So it's really cool to be in a growing city.
Yeah, in New York City, it's like old money. Like the first thing, if when I walk in, people immediately recognize me as from the family that I'm from. I'm getting my table with my parents. We get our bottled wine. The owner of the restaurant comes all the way down to like make sure to greet us and talk with us for a few minutes. It's a completely different, a very, very, very formal in
Maybe
New York.
that is gonna be
Like,
Miami in 50 or 60 years.
yeah, no, I think that'll be Miami in like 100 years. Like Miami is
Or a
very much
hundred
like
years.
it is the place where it's a young city. It's people who are ambitious and excited, and they want to help build a society and build a huge international city, and they want to be a part of that. Miami is that right now. You have Austin, Texas was that, like, I don't know, a decade or two ago, and now you have Miami. It's like the next frontier, where like we have all the tech talent pouring in here, which is amazing. Because I remember, I don't know, 8 years ago, if I were trying to hire a developer, I was hiring someone from Kazakhstan. And now we have
Wow.
all these, like all this tech talent coming here because they're realizing, oh, I can code and then I can go to the beach. Like
Oh yeah.
they don't, like, nowhere else do they have that. Like Silicon Valley, they're paying 40% state tax. Here we have zero. And it's such a great place right now. Or yeah, it's definitely the decade
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Miami.
And I'm gonna tell you something from, like, my perspective in terms of tech and startups and our world startup ecosystem. In Miami, we need a hero, because all the other cities like New York, San Francisco, Chicago, they have their companies that they become a hero 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and they keep uh, creating heroes until the last few years. But in Miami, we don't have that hero, and it's not because I work with Microhub or I'm a part of the funders, but I can see a Microhub one of those heroes in terms of people, community, culture as a technology company, growing
Oh
with
yeah.
the so we are not just trying to or we are not just solving the package issue. We are also building a company that is a hero for our community, and that is the message that I send with everybody here in 305. Hey, Microhub is the hero that we need to all grow together to make this. In the future, Microhub is in all over the country, but it's a 305 company headquarter base and
Yeah.
funded here. So I'm seeing that Miami will come with few heroes, and Microhub is one of them for
Yeah.
for the future, and it's excited to be in this moment. It's maybe it's the same that like your family, maybe, I don't know, 100 years ago, like you say, they feel it in New York. Like, wow, this city is growing and we are growing with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So 5 generations ago, when my grandmother came, my great grandmother came to the U.S. She had fled the pogroms, which were like killing the Jews in Russia. She fled
Wow.
to Poland. And then in Poland, there was a rise in anti-Semitism. So then she fled from Poland to the US. And by the time she got to the US, she was like unapologetically going to be successful. So she had 13 kids. She had 10 of her own kids. One of her friends died, so she adopted those 3. And this was not an era when women bought real estate. It was not an era when women ran businesses. And so she opened a general store, and people were like, women don't run businesses in the US. And she was like, that's very nice. Are you going to buy something or are you going to leave? Because I have to run a business. And they were like, maybe you didn't hear me. You're not supposed to be doing this. And she's like, listen, I speak 7 languages. I will translate any document you need after you buy something. And like, she just gave people no choice. It was like very, it was very much like she was the immigrant who was going to make it happen. And you do see that spirit in Miami today. I remember I walked with my daughter into a Ukrainian bakery a couple months ago, and the woman had just moved here from Ukraine. She had the bakery and she was going to make it happen. And I was like, this must have been what it was like for my great grandmother. And so I asked her, I was like, if you ever want to come on my podcast, like we usually have like massive startups and investors from around the world, but I would love to feature her story because I just that's what Miami is, like the startup city. No.
And at the end of the day, is the image of this country, like that is happening, I don't know, 200 years ago and keep happening.
Yeah, there's always a city where it's so welcoming and open to people who have a dream, who are willing to work hard, and they have a space where they can grow and flourish. And if you go to New York City now, it's sort of saturated with the banks, and the big players all have their space there. It's not so much like a startup city anymore. But then Silicon Valley for a while was the startup city. But now it's like you're either working for Oracle, Netflix, Facebook, Meta. You're working for one of the big tech companies. And then it became Austin, and now it's Miami. Like Miami isn't, like you said, it doesn't have any huge tech yet. And Microhub has already called dibs that it will be one of the big tech companies here. But yeah, this is the place to be if you're looking to start a startup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then let's see, we've covered what Microhub does. We covered how you got the idea. You started with robots, then saw what the market wanted, gave them what they wanted. You have an amazing way that you build teams. And I think this is one of the things that excites me the most about Microhub is you have a very unique priority for your company culture, which will bleed out into society, and we will see just like genuinely good people because you hire and you cultivate genuinely good people. Can you just like walk us through what you do? Because I know you said like when you exit your companies, you're sad because you built this whole team, you love your team, but can you walk us through like your hiring decisions?
Like the team, at least the first 20 people that engage with you, it's a team that have been, they are not building a company for you. They are building their company. They are part of it. So the mindset that they have, even if they are not funders, but the mindset that they have is they are funders because they are creating all these first structures of the company that will evolve in the future. So for me, the team, we have one of our values in the company that the best idea always win. You can be one rider. You can be one, which is the rider for us is the most important. It's coming like the rider is the one who does the delivery. He's on the top. I'm the last one. I can be changed, but if they don't exist, I'm not exist. Nobody exists in the company because they do the delivery. So hear from them feedbacks, understanding how we grow the company in a better way, it's super important. Of course, you guide, you develop with them, and you put everybody together to build out the strategy. But you need to have that special team, and I have it today in my Microhub. You have the
Yeah.
pleasure maybe to meet some of them at the last event we held here,
Yeah.
and they are very passionate about it. First, because we are solving a huge issue, and the second thing is because they know what they're doing. We don't have a manual to say, oh, next page is let's do this. We don't have any, we have to figure it out. But
You have
when
to
you have
create the
something
manual.
that it's clear in your path and everybody share the same vision and mission, we are on the same page, we can build out that book. So the team for me, it's the most important thing, at least the first 20. And this is something very important I heard a few years ago. If from the top, like the C executive, they don't have a great communication, the customer gonna feel that.
Oh
They're gonna
yeah.
feel it. So for us, when you are talking with one of your coworkers or someone that works with you, you need to talk to them like they are customers, because the customer at the end of the day will feel that. So it's customer top priority that I mentioned, the customer user experience top priority. So we are thinking always about it, always use it. So that is always having that. There is companies that they have a great product, great service, but they don't have a culture inside the company. So what
Mhm.
happened is they don't evolve with the issue. They don't evolve with the customer. They just pass 3 4 years. They are great, and then they die. Salud. so
No,
so
yeah, I see
build
that.
the team is like that. We take time to hire. We take time. We try to learn more about the person. Uh, Skills are like, right now the skills are important, but it's more important common sense for us, like,
Yeah.
because you can get the skills, you can work with the company, but common sense, bringing knowledge that you have from your different experience. Imagine all those experience in one place, in one room, talking about the how we're gonna do it, and always picking up the best idea. So no ego in the table. I think that is an important thing. Take the ego out of the door, and if it's there, mention, hey, lower your ego, because that
Yeah.
is bad for that relation. And
Yeah.
I don't know. Then become, we don't feel that we are working at the end of the day. Like, it's a rare thing, and you can see it. Sometimes we hire and it's not the best candidate, and they stay at the company 2 3 4 5 month maximum, and they left because
Yeah.
the company itself uh,
Isn't a
it
match
take
for
them
them.
out from, yeah. It's a, I don't know, it's rare to explain, but it's the day-to-day on how we work here.
No, we call it a cancer in the consulting world. We say that A's hire A's. So if you hire like an A player who's like they're the cheerleader, the coach, they do great work, but they also motivate other people to do great work. They're an A. No matter what team you put them on, they're going to make the other people A players that believe in themselves. But then as soon as you hire a B player, B players are so insecure and they don't know how to learn new skills. They don't have a lot of skills. So they spend all their time trying to sabotage the work of other people and trying to triangulate people, put them against each other. And they also are super threatened by anyone that's better than them. They don't think that, oh, there's someone better than me, I can learn from them. They think, oh, there's someone better than me, I need to take them out. And we call them a cancer, because if they stay in the company too long, they tank the product, they chase away all the A team players, and then they tank the productivity of everyone else. And you'll see performance just dive for an entire marketing team when they accidentally hire a B player. And it's like, okay, we have to cut the cancer out before it poisons the whole team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And make decision fast. Like, the yes or not have to be so fast. Don't think about it, go for it, because we don't have time. The real game here is not about money, it's about time. Like,
Yeah.
if you are doing
Well, time is money.
a
Time, yeah. You can't waste
exactly.
time.
So
Yeah.
exactly. So everything goes about the time, about how efficient we are, about measure goals, about being persistent about goals. There is situations, of course, and don't miss the focus, because focus gives you everything. Gives you
Yeah.
the stress actually it doesn't exist. The stress comes when you don't do things. So if you accumulate
Yeah.
your things to do, then you have a stress. But if you are
Yeah.
solving everything, you don't have, like, we are a company with, I can say, zero stress. Like, we don't feel that, I never here I'm stressed. Never,
Yeah.
never. I never have, I don't know. I never say that. We can say, wow, I'm tired because we have maybe
Yeah.
100 hours working in a week. Like, wow,
Yeah. Wow.
I want to go and rest a little bit. But we never hit, because it's the focus, and keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And you can see when one person, and this is, I love soccer. We call it soccer here. I love football in Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
But and you can see when a football team, a soccer team of 11 players, and one player is not doing well, you can see it in 90
Oh, yeah.
minutes. You
No,
know that that
I
guy
use the
is
soccer
not
metaphor
playing.
all the
So
time.
you know how that guy is damaging the whole operation that is going
Yeah.
on that team. And the same thing happens. So if you notice in 90 minutes that that guy is not working well, you can notice that in your company in 90 minutes too.
Yeah.
So it's about, what if you are the coach of that team? You take him out and you change and you put another one. So you have to do
Yeah.
the same thing with your team at the end of the day.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Um,
And the
I
good
use
thing
the
is,
soccer metaphor a lot.
it's not just me, and I don't work just as a coach. I'm talking about comparing the team. It's also the same team that they come like, hey, what happened with this guy? And but it's not on the back. Like, what you doing? Why you need help? What do you want? Because we have that clarity without the ego that I mentioned before from the company. It's not here.
Yeah, and I think something that helps, like a lot of founders get hit in different ways that you're a little bit more immune to, because this is your third company and you launch everything with your brother. So like having the CTO, CEO, like that strong relationship. I've worked with some startups where I'm like, look, it's a marriage between the people in the C-suite. Like, you guys
Yeah.
do not just sit down in the boardroom, you grab dinner together, you act like battle buddies. Like, you have to watch each other's back day in and day out. And there was a tech company I worked with a few years ago. It was literally lined up for the perfect development, and they were going to exit to General Electric. The CEO was like very close friends with the CTO of General Electric, and it's rare that you get like a perfect home run like that. But then the CFO and the CTO of that tech company, they were greedy and they wanted to kick the CEO out of his position. And instead of just being happy that they had an all-star team, they wanted to dethrone him and then change the equity structure, or something that was like so small and petty that wouldn't matter in 15 years. And after they did that, everyone left the company. And I was like, and it was the first startup for a few of them. And I was like, I know that you guys watch some TV shows and this sounds like a good idea, but you're going to destroy a very good company. They didn't listen and they destroyed the company. And a few years later, they tried to launch something else. No one would touch them. And it's like, you have to have that healthy relationship in the C-suite. Like, if you don't like someone, go out for coffee, go play a round of golf, go surfing. Like, you have to get on the same page and pretend you're parents that are raising a family, like a united front. Like, it's just, yeah, but with the soccerman metaphor, I use that all the time. I'm like, look, I would rather be on a soccer team that wins than be an all-star gymnast winning by myself. Any given day, I'd rather be on the winning soccer team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the communication is the base of everything, like,
Oh,
talk about it, and it's not like you're always going to be talking about an issue that you have, because then become a toxic relation. But
Yeah,
it's about being frank, like, hey, what's happening with this? And it's about be aligned. That's what I'm always say, is that we have to share the same mission and vision. Because you know what is the crazy thing? There is millions of ways to get to the same place when you have a
yeah,
mission and vision. The things happening when you start discussing those ways. No, I think that we have to do this way, or I think that we have to do it that way. So
yeah,
there is, okay, what is the best way to do it to get where we want to be? And the discussions have to be about that. Because if
yeah,
we have the same mission and vision, those discussions about the ways are not, they're never going to be that bad. Even if you,
yeah.
I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to explain, but
No,
it's
no, no.
about,
Yeah, yeah. The saying is, have strong goals, like be firm on your goals, but relaxed on the way you reach those goals. Because the
correct.
variables, it is a soccer game. It is a soccer game. Like people will ask me, they're like, well, what is your plan? I'm like, so startups are not a golf game where you're like literally like hitting golf to one hole and there's no variables. It is soccer. Startups are rugby. Like you have to be able to react and play asymmetrical warfare. And you have to be ready. The other team is trying to not let you score the goal while you're trying to score the goal. And so you have to be aligned as a team and ready to react when something happens. So you have a plan, but let's say the 2008 crash happens, or COVID hits, or some other, like the October 7th crisis hits. Like you have to be able to, when something happens, like, okay, the Ukrainian Russian war, I own a software company. All of my developers were in the Ukraine or Russia. My videographer was there. Like my team, in one day, my team couldn't talk to each other anymore. And several of my friends who own tech companies had the same problem. Like you have to, in the startup space, be able to react to what's happening in order to still get to that goal. But that's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that takes trust. That takes time. And if yeah, you have to be
And,
able to
and you have
trust.
like plan B and plan C, and sometimes you touch the plan B, but you always come back to plan A.
Yeah, yeah, you have to be ready for those emergency calls. But
Yep.
anyways, um, okay, so you already are funded. You're not accepting investment from anyone else at this time. But if people want to invest in the next round, are they able to, or do they have to follow on your lead investor?
Well, the strategy is not public yet. We are going to start talking about it next year, early next year, and there is gonna be all the details about it and how to do it.
Okay,
The
so
idea is, yeah,
if
the idea
somebody's
is to, sorry.
no, if somebody's listening today and they're like, okay, your company is awesome, I want in, how do I get into the next round? They're going to have to subscribe to your LinkedIn, or like where will that be announced when you're announcing it?
Yeah, like if the person is interested, they can reach me out through LinkedIn and we can talk about it. But then when we announce it, it's gonna be announced by our website.
Okay. All right. So they can reach out to you on LinkedIn, and then if someone's like, I want this for my building, who do they reach out to? Do they reach out to Henrik?
The website. They
Okay,
they go
so
through the website, and then some sales representative will reach them out and start the communication. Because on the
okay,
website they can talk a little bit more about their building, so we know what is the right person to reach them out.
reach out to them. Okay, so
Mm-hmm,
LinkedIn
mm-hmm.
if they want to invest, website if they want to bring this to their building. Um, all right, cool. And then do you have any final parting notes for everyone, or?
No, just if you have any problem, reach us out with your packages. Of course, we don't take merry problems. And but technology, I always talk about. We are. I'm true believer of real technologies for real problems. We have been seeing a lot of startups, technology companies that, of course, they have a great software, great technologies, very deep, automating a lot of processes. but I'm more devoted to our day-to-day problems as a humans. Those
Yeah.
small things, and I always like to talk to everybody that we need to be more focused in how we automate our life, how we make it better using tools, using technology, not technology using us. So it's super important to say that, and don't be scared about AI because it's not that simple. AI will help us to automate those processes and our day-to-day life tasks. So
Yeah,
thank you,
AI
Ivy.
just AI
Thank,
just it helps people to do their jobs faster. It doesn't replace people. It just helps them do their jobs faster.
correct, correct. I'm more scared about the quantum technology because we can
No.
control
Oh,
that, but
no. Oh
but
my God. Wait. Sorry. Let's dive into something for a second. Quantum technology. Listen, this is what's going to happen with quantum that will just take humanity to a whole new level. You'll be able to step onto a scanner. It'll scan your entire body and be able to tell you if, like, every single ailment you have and which foods you should be adding to your diet. It will revolutionize preventative medicine. And I think after quantum computing becomes something that's affordable and we see it in more hospitals and healthcare offices across the world, you will see humans living like healthy and running and physically fit until like 150. Like we'll be
yes,
shocked
no,
at people
absolutely.
living 80 years.
Quantum technology is not as for me is the big change. Like quantum technology is the fire. We discovered fire. I don't know, 5,000 years ago. I don't know how
Yeah.
many years, but it's the new fire because it's not internet. Internet
Yeah.
was big. AI is big. .com is big. I don't know. Lighting is big, but quantum is fire. It's
No,
gonna
that's
change
like a
the.
perfect, that's a
It's gonna
perfect
change the
example.
whole. Yes. So we have to be prepared as a human. So we are preparing ourselves year after year. But I'm true believer that the moment we control that and we have a great leaders that control and introduce that in a great and in a right way, we can have a way better world. Like that's another level.
Well, I mean, fire gave humans the ability to defend themselves at mass scale from predators that used to eat us for breakfast. And it skyrocketed. Just having fire, period, completely changed the way we could eat and access nutrients. And it completely changed not only our lifestyles, but our life expectancy and our ability to purify things and cleanse things and drink clean water. And quantum computing, like what the fire did for humans and their longevity, quantum computing will do the same thing. Like pre-fire, we lived what, 20 years? After fire, we lived to like 40 or 50 years. Pre-quantum computing, we live 80, 90 years. After quantum computing, people will be living to like 150, 200. We will have Methuselahs everywhere.
That is a lot.
It's a lot right now, but watch. Just it's going to happen in our lifetime. And we're going to go back into some crazy archive, pull up this call and be like, hey, remember that sci-fi discussion that actually ended up being real?
That needs another podcast.
I know. Yeah. I could sorry. My degree in medicinal and biological chemistry is coming to the forefront a little bit here. But yeah, I could riff on this and the advances that we're going to see in medicine in our lifetime for I don't know, hours. It's amazing. It's amazing what's happening.
Yeah,
Anyways, okay.
I want to be alive to see it.
You will. What are you? You're 30, right?
I'm 31. Yeah.
Yeah, of course you'll be alive to see it. I'm 5 years older than you, and I'll be alive to see it. So you'll definitely be alive.
Do you think what 5, 10 years from now?
Quantum computing? No, I think in 10 years we'll start to see it used within large corporations. I think we'll see it mainstream within the next 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years is a good number.
Yeah, but in 10 years we'll see it at the large corporations that are influencing the way that our societies access medicine.
Yeah. But well, let's see. We can have another podcast in 10 years. Just
Yes.
talking about quantum.
Yes, I will schedule the date now. No, I'm kidding. Google Calendars might not even be a thing by then. We'll be like tuning in via virtual reality. We won't even have the Zoom calls anymore. We'll be calling this
Oh
like
yeah,
your
yeah.
plan.
There is a hundreds of different products that I'm also happy because we are living again, and not yet, but we're gonna start seeing it maybe in the next 2 years. A hardware era. We're gonna start seeing more hardware, more
Yeah.
products, physical products, like and smart physical products. I'm talking about not robots, but like
Did you see the podcast, like 2 podcasts before you? What was his name? Kuram invented Jarvis, a modern day Jarvis from like Tony Robbins. He created it and he came on the
wow,
podcast. Yeah. So
nice,
when you're talking about like seeing futuristic things happening now, he was just on. I'll send you the link. I'll email it to you. But yeah, it was very
nice,
cool. Yeah. So
nice.
we're living in it.
Thank you,
We're
Ali.
living in the history. Of course. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
See you. Bye.